Hello everyone, this is Baylor from ScoobyDoobyDoo.com, and I'm going to show you how to make, this is part 2 of how to make a modern CMS. Okay, so I'm going to kind of rush through this, but basically this is the third time I've made it. Okay, so we're going to need to connect to our database this time, and we're also going to need to select all the rows from the database. So I'm going to do that. I'm not going to explain it too thoroughly because it really doesn't need to be explained that well, because you can ask around on forums, and you can read tutorials on like w3schools.com/php. But anyway, so you'll notice I just created a folder called _class, and inside that I added CMS class. Everything in CMS class is going to run everything that we need on the page. Okay, so we'll go ahead and start our PHP on this, and I'm going to add a class to this, and it's going to be called modern CMS. And at the very end of this, I'm going to go ahead and add a comment telling myself that this ends our class. And the reason I'm doing that is because this file could very well be at least 200 lines of code, and it's going to be very helpful to know that that's what this curly bracket does. So, so when you connect to a database, let's go ahead and open up a standard file. It's been a while since I've done this, so com/php. How you normally go about connecting to a database, so I don't have to type all this out. So database connect. I like their new site. They've changed it since I've been to it. So you can see that you have to have the server name, the username, and a password to connect to a database. And this is just a basic idea on how you connect to a database. Okay, so you have your server name, your username, and password. Okay. So that's what we're going to need to connect to our database. So first of all, we're going to have our variable for a host, our second variable for our username, and our last one for our password. So host links to username, or our local host, or our server name. I call this a host, not server name, but apparently that's what it's called. So our username is equal to this, sorry, and password is equal to this. So what I want to do is give these some, or actually, let's go ahead and create our function to connect to our database. I'm really jumping around a lot, and I apologize for that. But anyway, so we're going to create our function called connect. Okay, and this is going to have our connection variable, and that's going to be equal to MySQL connect, and we're going to pass our host through this. So to do that, we're going to write this pointing to host, this username, and this password. Okay, and what this is going to do, see, we're inside a function right now. This is going to take us back to our main class and grab this variable. This password, this username, is going to take us back to this class and grab this variable. This password is going to take us back to the class again and grab this variable. So this is just a very simple and easy way to get our variables. You can't just write host like that. You have to add the this points to host. And you'll see how you'll see why this is a little more, you'll see why this is a little better than the normal way of writing it. Okay, and then we're going to write MySQL select DB, and this is going to be equal to this database, and we're going to pass through this our connection variable. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and add our variable DB, and let's go ahead and give those their values so we can connect to our database. So back in the index.php file, I'm going to add an include to our _class directory /CMS class.php, which is the file that has our class. and we're going to create an object, and this object is going to be equal to a new modern CMS. And the new modern CMS is this class's name right here. So we're going to go ahead and start this on our page, and you have to add the parentheses to the end of it, even though you didn't here, but that's just the way you write classes. And then we'll set up our connection variables. I'm sorry. And so we'll have object. And you remember last time I told you how we would do this host? Well, now that we are not inside this main class, we have to do object, which is equal to this new modern CMS host. It's going to be equal to localhost. Then we have object username is equal to root, because that's my username. Object password, I don't have a password, so this will be blank. And object database is going to be equal to our database, which is modern CMS, if you remember from the last screencast. So now let's go ahead and connect to our database. So connect to our DB. And to do that, we're going to run our object and send connect, and we have to add the parentheses since this is actual function. So this little code, that right there, should connect to our database, and let's go ahead and test it. And we didn't get an error, so we must have connected successfully. And I'm going to add an or die to this. MySQL error. Forgot to do it the first time around. But basically, that's just going to say if we could connect, good, or if we didn't, die or echo an error on the page. And yeah, we didn't get an error. And I didn't mean to do that. Okay, so let's go ahead and create the function to get the rows from the database. So below this, I'm going to create another function called get content, and this is going to be equal to SQL equals quote select star from CMS content, and that's all we're going to do. And then result is going to be equal to MySQL query SQL or die MySQL error. Okay, and basically what we've done here is we've created a command line to select everything from CMS content. Now, this star does not mean select all the rows from the database. It means select the ID, the title, and the body. Now, if I had a bunch of different things in here, then we could do select ID, title, body, and date, and time, and all that, okay? But right now, we just need the ID, the title, and the body, so we're selecting all of that. And so let's go ahead and create a while statement or a loop that will echo out all of those tables or those rows. So I'm going to create a while row equals MySQL fetch assoc for our result, which is this right here, and we're going to echo out an h1 tag with a and this is going to hold our row title, and finish that h1, and then we're going to echo out a paragraph that will hold our row paragraph or body. And I want to note this. You see the way I did the row with square brackets? That's because the row is an array, and the title means we're getting the value of title. And you remember we did body, and that's getting whatever's in the body. Okay, so let's go ahead and test this out. So to do that, we're going to go back to our index.php. Inside the page wrap, I'm going to add PHP equals get or object get content. Okay, so let's go back and test this, and you can see we got this is a great post, blah blah blah, and we got all our posts from the database with one line of code. So you can see that is very easy to read on your page. And if you have 200 or 300 lines of code and you know this is it, so then you go back over here and you search for get content and you can find it. So one last thing that I want to do is make these reverse, because I want it to be kind of like a blog. I want the last one to show first. So to do that, I'm going to do order by ID descending. So instead of 1, 2, 3, we'll do 3, 2, 1. If I reload the page, you can see our third post is the first one. So thanks for watching this, and look forward to upcoming screencasts.